Kia ora, and welcome to this week's Flexi. This week we're looking at relationship, and in particular we're looking at school-wide initiatives that aim to build relationship and enrich, impact, develop student learning. In the 21st century we're seeing a lot of school-wide government-led initiatives in a number of areas aimed at bringing up student achievement, student behaviour, student innovation, student engagement across the board. While these may target specific student groupings such as Māori or low literacy levels or behavioural issues, the idea is they will have an overall effect as well and bring up the whole school. Most of these initiatives are designed to be socio-cultural, and that it means that the school itself takes the initiative and then fits the ideas of the initiative to their own context, and in a sense they come up with their own approach to meet the goals, and they come up with their own definition of what the needs are and get to focus specifically on those. As a result, it's a really good way of building relationship because the community decides what happens. So in a sense, last week we looked at intrinsic learning of the student and how to engage that. This is kind of a concept in which the initiatives develop intrinsic value within the school community to meet those goals. So it's about switching teachers on, it's about switching the community on, it's about switching students on. As a result, they're fantastic ways in which schools are developing relationship building amongst colleagues as the colleagues work together to reach these goals that schools set. Is building relationships between staff and parents, staff and community groups, and also importantly it's engaging the students in building the relationship between staff, school and the student, and the idea we work together to achieve things and better ourselves as a result, create a better learning environment for all. So the first forum this week is after reading the McGee and Fraser reading. That's the course text, that's chapter 12, and it's on developing a community of learners, and it really just asks you the question after reading it, how do you define a community of learners after reading that? So you can introduce some ideas from the reading that you have thought about, but you may want to introduce some of your own perspective as well. And then what does that perspective or definition then mean for you as the teacher? So what role are you going to play? What growth do you see happening? What initiative, what leadership will you be able to show within that process? What type of relationships will it mean for you in reaching out to the community and reaching out to other colleagues, other departments, and of course reaching out to students? Other factors you may want to consider in there too are the work you will have to put in with other groups within the school that aren't necessarily teacher colleagues. They're often people that we don't think about so much, but are vital relationships for us to develop in developing a full school approach. So that support staff in terms of the office staff, the counselling staff, the teacher aides, the sports coordinator, etc. Those auxiliary staff that don't have a core teaching role but have other relational roles within the school that relate to the community, that relate to the students most definitely. So how will you work effectively with them to create a community of learners, to create a community of relationship that enriches, engages and helps everybody to grow? Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at 4 initiatives that are very popular at the moment, that are pushed by the government, the Ministry of Education, for various reasons, and you are going to choose one of those to look at in depth and create on Canva, which is an online program, an infographic explaining what the initiative seeks to do, what problem it seeks to meet, how it seeks to do that, and then what implications it has for you as the educator. And the idea is you'll upload your infographic, become an expert in that area, that initiative, and then you'll be able to look at other people's infographics and learn about the other areas. So the 4 programs or 4 initiatives I want you to have a look at, and then choose one to look at in more depth, are Te Katahitanga, which is a very effective program for engaging Māori learners that's run across a number of schools. I've had the privilege to be involved with it in Tauranga Girls College, and it does an awesome job there in engaging and developing success for Māori learners, but it's a standout program, and the skills that you learn that develop Māori learners also help you to develop learning for all students and enrich the whole class as a result. The second one is PB4L, which is a government initiative of positive behaviour and developing that across schools, and it's a really good example of socio-cultural practice in which the format and initiative sets up the school community to decide for itself what positive behaviours it wants to engage with, and then how it wants to go about building those, and it really seeks to develop all groups meeting together and deciding as part of the decision making process. And there's some really cool videos from various schools around New Zealand that I put up about how they are pushing certain behaviour choices from a student-led perspective. The next one is literacy projects. These are becoming more and more popular across schools now as numeracy and literacy becomes more important as a media perspective and as a political hot potato. The government is putting a lot of money into developing programs, and a lot of schools now are working together across departments, across learning areas to develop literacy approaches that cover the full spectrum. I had the privilege of working within such a program at Katikati College and was the literacy learning point person for my department, which was social science, and we would meet together with our literacy coordinators once a term, and we would discuss what we were doing in our various departments. So we would share resources and share ideas and be able to take from each other to learn for our own subjects, and then we would coordinate a literacy approach and focus on different areas of literacy within the teaching of our subjects, so that the students got a good breadth of the complete holistic literacy picture. And so my job then was to go back to my department, lead literacy meetings and lead the creation of new resources and help them engage that in their teaching. The final one is the new government initiative 2013 to 2017 for engaging Māori learners, and it also has a side point of engaging Pacifica learners as well, and that's Kahikatea. And that's a new program that's been rolled out in New Zealand schools. Again, it's a very popular initiative that has a large uptake, and it's seen some very positive results, as you can see in the report in PDF that I have put there for you to engage with. So the idea is you'll learn about infographics this week. You'll learn about how you can make them yourself, and they're quite easy to do using the digital format of Canva. There's some tutorials there at the bottom of the page to follow through if you want to gain some insight that way. There's also some hands-on tutorials once you sign up to Canva, one on what the basics are and another one in there on infographics itself, and it takes you actually through, not via a video discussion, but actually a kinesthetic approach where you drag and drop and you end up creating something. So that's quite a cool way to learn. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, get in touch via the open zone, and I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing your questions. I look forward to seeing your engagement. I really look forward to seeing your infographics and hearing what your key learnings are about learning to transform students through building positive relationships as a community of learners. Over and out.